Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with the SCORE intro portion. You are here today, as you can see on the screen, for How's Your Social IQ? I want to talk to you about the things that SCORE offers. One of them is training in the form of workshops and webinars. I do encourage you to check out the entire list of available workshops, and we do have some in person and webinars available coming up in this new year because we have quite a variety. One of the most important things that SCORE does is the mentoring. The mentoring is free and confidential. We work with folks in all stages of business. You could be in the, I think I want to open a business. You could be in the process of starting a business, or you could already have a business and you're wanting some direction on a particular portion of your business, or perhaps you're looking at growing your business. So we work with all stages. You do not already have to have your business filed or any of those things to come and talk to us. A first time session is often around 30 to 45 minutes. That'll be about finding out what your goals are and learning a little bit about you and coming up with a plan so that you can keep moving forward down the path to your business goals. Should you want to get a mentor, you can go to the websites listed here, and those are the chapters in our district, which I'll put in chat following my intro. You can also put a note in chat and just say, hey, I'd love a mentor, and I will make sure the right chapter reaches out to you to get you scheduled with someone that can help you with what you need, because all of our mentors have different experiences and expertise and knowledge points from business to share. We do anticipate a nice crowd today, so we will absolutely be using the Q&A tab. So please use that Q&A tab if you have a question that you want asked to the presenter. We'll try and answer some pertinent ones otherwise we'll be saving some of them for the end, and we hope to get to as many as possible. Again, we do anticipate a decent crowd today. Chat can be used for everything else, but yeah, Q&A, presenter questions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring that down, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rob Stutzman. He's our subject matter expert in marketing and with the Boston chapter. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Teresa, thank you very much. And to everyone out there, happy Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday in the new year. And we're just very pleased that you are taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for this webinar on how is your social IQ. Before we get started with the presentation, I like to get to know my audience better. And so I am bringing up my screen here. Teresa's going to bring up a poll within the platform here. And the first question is, which social media platforms do you use for your business? So why don't you go ahead and put your answers out there for us. All right. We've got some responses coming in now. That's great. Fantastic. Facebook is leading the race, not surprising. Twitter's out there. Okay, why don't we go on to the next question then, Teresa? Which is probably already up here. I just have to scroll down. How often does your business post? Some of you are posting every day. You are to be commended. Some are posting daily, but on the business days. Most are posting monthly. And some are even wondering what a post even is. And our third question here, what does your business sell? Hard goods, soft goods. The majority are in the services industry and selling via the services industry. We've got some nonprofits represented here. So we've got a great smattering of people that have experience and some that are only beginning to investigate the social media platforms that are out there. And so what we're going to do, we call this a social media primer. What it means is that I'm trying to get my slides to advance here. There we go. First, a little bit about myself. I joined SCORE back in May of 2020 after a career with Verizon, where I spent 30 years. I led global teams and marketing initiatives within Verizon. It was a wonderful career. I had a wonderful time. And so SCORE is my opportunity to give back. It was my opportunity to interface with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, small business owners, to help them get up and running within their businesses using my expertise in sales and marketing. I do have a company that I have where I do consulting, but of course, anything that I do through SCORE is done free of charge. And so the wonderful thing about SCORE is they have mentors and they have subject matter experts. A subject matter expert comes alongside a mentor to work with clients on very specific issues that they have within their business. Whereas mentors might be a little bit more holistic, subject matter experts are a little more focused. And so my focus is in sales and marketing. So I come alongside the mentors and help our clients in that capacity. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to define social media. We're going to talk about 8 different platforms. Most you'll know, but there'll be one that you probably are not very familiar with. We're going to talk about choosing the right platform, and we're going to look ahead to the future of social media. You know, Merriam-Webster has definitions for everything, and they've defined social media as forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. That really captures it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about social media. We're talking about media distributed within a community. And so that is very key, and you'll see that theme as we go through the different platforms. So why do small businesses use social media? Really, the first and foremost reason that small businesses use it is for disintermediation. A big word, and what that means is that you're cutting out the middleman. If you think about traditional business, you would have developed a product, you would have brought that product to a wholesaler, that wholesaler would have sold it off to a retailer who would sell it off to the end user or the end customer. All that means markup in terms of the pricing of the good or service. With the advent of social media and the internet, companies today now have the ability to go direct to consumers and talk to them and sell directly to consumers. It's great for customer feedback because it leads to customer engagement. You can talk with your customers and you can co-develop your product or service with your customers as a result. There's market reach. All of the platforms we talk about today are worldwide and have both domestic and international communities. We're going to focus more on what is the US portion of their communities, because that's what's most applicable to SCORE clients. But we're going to talk about direct traffic to websites, and e-commerce, and a new term you may have heard called social commerce. E-commerce means I'm selling my goods or services over the internet. Social commerce means I'm selling my goods or services within the context, within the confines of a particular social media platform. So you may hear that word used out there, social commerce. It means you're selling directly within Facebook and LinkedIn, et cetera. And they use it for training. Social media can be a great opportunity for clients to train their customers, different information and really put themselves out there as a thought leader within their community. The other reason why it's so important is because social media continues to grow. This is only through 2021. We'll be getting the growth numbers for 2022 later this year, but you can see that over 3.5 billion users or over 3 billion users use the platforms today. There's purchasing power with that. There's a cultural and societal adaptation. What that means is that people have embraced social media within their lives. Some people, when they will religiously go to their social media platforms to hear what the latest is that's going on. There's market reach. We talked about the fact that you can reach outside of your geography. There's new channels of distribution. It's not just selling over the internet. You can sell within the platforms, and because your competition has embraced it. And so regardless of what business we're in, we probably have some competition out there. That competitor probably has embraced social media. So there's a pressure on businesses to continue to embrace social media. These are the platforms we're going to talk about. You probably are familiar with Facebook and LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Google, TikTok. And the last one is a platform called Alignable that you may not be familiar with, that we'll go over briefly. It said if you're not actively engaged in these platforms, you're not actively engaged in social media. To harness the power of these big eight is to harness the future of commerce. So let's talk about Facebook. Facebook is primarily a social network. It allows you to put up content. There's over 2.8 billion monthly active users on the platform. It's become so integrated within society that even anthropologists and social researchers and social historians are saying, Facebook is preserving the images of our lives that are vastly crisper and more nuanced than any ancestry record in existence. So the content that we're putting out there 100 years from now is going to be so valuable to researchers to know what was going on in the year 2023. Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla's big brother. It's so big that it is the internet to some people. There are some people that go exclusively on Facebook to get their news, to get their content, to do commerce, to interact with other people. They stay exclusively within the platform. The key elements that are associated with the platform is you've got a profile and you've got your own personal timeline, and then Facebook feeds you news. If you happen to see something that you like, you can hit that like button, and that lets the poster know that you first of all have read the information and that you like the information. And there's other emoticons as well you can select behind the like button. There's instant messaging. Sometimes people will post something, they'll get a response, and they'll say, gee, that's really great. Let me direct message you. And that gets it outside of the platform. They can talk with them one-on-one as a result. You can put company pages on Facebook. Facebook has groups. The important thing about groups is they are interest groups. And so you may want to join different kinds of groups just to, if for no other reason, than to get into what is the buzz around the area that I'm focused on within my market. Because people may be talking about it, maybe not about you specifically in your company, but they may be talking about what your company offers. And so you'll want to join some of these groups to get in, understand what the buzz is that's going on. There are groups for small businesses, for people to come together and just post questions to each other saying, hey, I've got this challenge, or I've got this idea. Has anybody else tried it out there? And get some feedback. So groups are very important within these different platforms. Facebook has a marketplace. You can purchase off of Facebook. It's not as robust as other e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and eBay. It's got kind of a classified ads feel to it, and some people that doesn't particularly, it's not something that they go to, but it's there. They do sell through the platform. And there's a live feature. If you have a particular event that you're going to run, maybe it's a webinar or a speaking event, you can actually set it up to be live. So people have to tune in at a particular day and time to hear what it is that you have to share. There's advertising you can do within Facebook. There are elements that factor into what you'll pay for it are cost per click, which means if somebody sees your advertisement and clicks on it, you'll get charged for that particular click. There's a cost per 1,000 impressions, and impressions means the people that see your advertising. So if your advertising goes out to 1,000 people, then you'll be charged a cost per 1,000 impressions. There's a cost per like. If somebody goes in and likes your advertisement, there's a cost associated with that. And if you have information to download, there's a cost per download. And you can see below what the costs are associated with this platform. And there's currently 7 million advertisers active on the platform today. In using Facebook within your business, some different ways that people use Facebook today is, first of all, for discussion groups. They want to set up feedback with their clients that are out there. So they'll set up a discussion group and invite people to be part of it. They'll advertise events and contests, excuse me. They'll use it for commerce. They'll use it to sell things. They'll use it for company announcements and press releases, and they'll solicit product survey and feedback. The benefits associated with Facebook, it's great for business to consumer commerce. It's got billions of potential customers that are out there. It's international in scope. It's impactful on society, which means it's not going away. Every once in a while, the government comes around and wants to regulate it more heavily, but so far they've been kind of had the ability to avoid that regulation or intense regulation. And you've got a captive audience. People that are within the Facebook platform you're dialoguing with them within that particular platform. And so you can avoid some of all the other noise that is within the greater internet. All right, let me just pause there, just see, is there any questions anybody has about Facebook before I go on? Teresa, do we have anything that's come in or?
No, not about Facebook.
Okay, great. Let's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is employment oriented. It's professional networking. It's got 740 million registered members in over 150 countries. It allows members to create profiles and connect with each other in an online social networks, which may represent real world professional relationships. But it's grown beyond that employment orientation. LinkedIn is really no longer an online resume. It's really your digital reputation. If you are in the services industry, or if you're a nonprofit, you will want to ensure that you've got a presence within LinkedIn so that they can see you, not only see you, but it gives you the platform by which you can begin to communicate information that puts you into a thought leadership position. You want to be perceived as a thought leader within your market so that people will come to you and want to hear more about what you have to offer. The key elements, there's profiles that you put up on LinkedIn. There's a mobile application. They have their own version of groups in LinkedIn as well. There's a top companies and top voices feature where they will tell you who are the top companies and who are the top voices within LinkedIn. With top voices in particular, one of the things you'll see with the other platforms that has really come about over the last few years is this whole concept of influence marketing. It used to be that you had company spokespeople, a company that talked about, your company, maybe you ran advertising on radio and television and print, to talk about that, or have your company spokespeople talk about that. Now you've got influence marketers. You've got people that have tremendous followings within social media. And when they talk about your product is then reaching their millions, thousands and millions of users out there. So it's called influence marketing. And so companies, are trying to come alongside these influencers to get them to position their product and services as well. There's a sales navigator feature within LinkedIn where you can set up, if you want to survey your addressable market and you want to start targeting, you want to target geographically, or maybe you want to target within a company based on job positions. You can do that within Sales Navigator. It will feed you people within LinkedIn that are fitting the profile that you've set up, and so you can then begin to contact them and establish a conversation. There is company pages within LinkedIn as well, so you can have your own personal LinkedIn account, but you can have a separate account for your company. They have advertising. Their way of approaching advertising is they want you to set up a target audience. They want you to establish a campaign objective. And then you're going to begin to bid on keywords that are associated with your campaign. And then you'll set up your advertisement, which will then go out on the platform. And similar to Facebook, you'll pay a cost per click, which means if somebody sees your advertisement and clicks on it, which will most likely take them to your website, you'll pay for that click. There's a cost per 1,000 impressions, and there's a cost per send. So if somebody is, clicking on your advertisement and gets sent to your website, there will be an additional cost for sending that individual to your particular website. So the use cases within LinkedIn, people have used, if you are, again, in a service-based industry, your personal branding is extremely important. People are doing business with you, not only because you provide good service, but probably because of who you are and your capability. And so personal branding is very important. And LinkedIn can help you to establish that personal branding. It's great for job seeking and networking. They haven't deviated too much from their core uses when they opened up. They've got discussion groups. You can use it for company announcements, collaboration. You can use it for driving eyeballs to your website and for lead generation. There's, again, through that Sales Navigator application, you can generate leads from LinkedIn to your business. The benefits, it's great for business to business commerce. It's probably better than, certainly Facebook is great for business to consumer. LinkedIn is great for business to business. People are on LinkedIn. They're on LinkedIn to network with each other. They're on LinkedIn to look for new job opportunities. They're on LinkedIn to hear about what's going on within their industry. So business people are on LinkedIn. It's international in scope, and it's excellent for networking with clients and prospects. Let me pause there. Has any questions come in regarding LinkedIn, Teresa?
No, you answered it actually in progress, and the other one we'll save for the end.
Okay, wonderful. Let's go on. Let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is photo and video sharing. It lets you upload media onto the platform, and you can organize it through hashtags and geographical tagging. It originally launched for iPhone, and it rapidly gained in popularity, and it's now up over 1 billion users as of December 2021. And Cristiano Ronaldo, who's a famous soccer player, holds the most followers with over 400 million, or 33.9% of all Instagram users. You could imagine within the area of influence marketing, if you had Cristiano Ronaldo talking about your product or service, you'd be reaching 400 million users out there. which is mind-boggling. The key elements, they've got hashtags. That's how people can group content within Instagram. You can search and you can explore. You can set up photographic filters. They've got a feature called Reels, which are short video. It was developed primarily to compete with TikTok. And they want to keep that feature within their platform so people are not jumping out of Instagram to go over to TikTok. So they created a feature called Reels. There's Instagram Direct, which is where you can direct message another person within Instagram. They've got Instagram Stories, where you can put up content that after 24 hours, it will be taken off of the platform. And so sometimes people will put up stories for stuff they just want to have up for a very short duration. You can also shop within Instagram. You shop within Instagram within your iPhone. If you were to go onto Instagram within the internet, you wouldn't have that capability. It's exclusive to people on their mobile devices who have the ability to shop on Instagram. Their advertising costs, it depends on the bidding model, but they have a bidding methodology similar to Facebook. But on average, you'll pay about $2 per click and about a little less than $7 per 1,000 impressions. So you can see, between Facebook, LinkedIn, now Instagram, as far as the impressions per 1,000, it's about the same cost on all of those different platforms. Use cases, people use it for product and project presentations. They use it for training. They use it to solicit customer feedback, make announcements, and again, to try to get influence marketers to talk about their product or service. And the really, really good ones, they become influence marketers. They actually become the best. They're actually influenced because they've gained so many followers within what they have to offer. It's great for showcasing product and projects. It's feature rich within, as far as it's media rich. It allows you to put graphics and text and video up there. It's great for press releases. It's great for reaching a younger demographic. The younger folks have really abandoned Facebook. They've given that up to their parents. And they have jumped over to Instagram, and now there's even younger people are now ditching Instagram to go to TikTok. So if you're chasing a younger demographic, you want to have some kind of a presence on Instagram and as well as TikTok. Okay, let's talk about Twitter.
I have an Instagram question.
Yes, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. You mentioned impressions per 1,000. What is an impression?
An impression means that someone has seen your advertisement. So depending, so you're going to set up an advertisement, it's going to go out to the platform. Depending on what you've designed within the platform will determine how many people are actually going to see it. But the impressions are the people that have seen your advertisement. Clicks are when somebody has actually clicked on your advertisement because they want to get additional information.
Thank you.
All right. Oh boy, let's talk about Twitter. Twitter provides you with photo and video sharing. The app allows users to upload media that can be edited, and they can filter and organize with hashtags and geographical tagging. They have 396 million users today, of which 206 million users access it daily. Barack Obama leads the follower contest with 129 million followers that are out there. We all know that Twitter recently had undergone an ownership change, and Elon Musk now owns the Twitter has moved from being a public company to now being a private company. There's a lot of uncertainty swirling around Twitter in terms of where is it going to, we know where it is today, but where is it going to be tomorrow? Tomorrow, meaning it could be the next couple of months, it could be the next couple of years. But where is this platform going? So a lot of people have their eyeballs on Twitter to just try to understand from a business perspective, how should I be utilizing this particular platform? The key elements, you've got tweets. A tweet is where I put a message out there of less than 240 characters, and I send that message to the platform, and then it goes to all the people who are following me, and they have the ability to see what I have to offer. There's content. It's really about content. People go to Twitter because they're looking for content. There's formatting within Twitter that organizes it through hashtags and usernames. There's Twitter lists. If you want to group different Twitter content providers into a particular list, you have that ability within Twitter to kind of group things and organize it in a more orderly fashion. There's trending topics. You probably have heard about, this is trending on Twitter, or that is trending on Twitter. It's just it means that your particular content has taken off. It's gone viral. And so it means that, a number of users are looking at your content. And there's a moments feature within Twitter that is, again, kind of similar to Instagram. It kind of lets you put up information it's going to be there for a period of time. The advertising costs the way they do it is through promoted tweets and promoted accounts. The promoted tweets will cost 50 cents to $2 for each action, and promoted accounts will cost you $2 to $4 for each follow. So if I'm on the Twitter platform and if I see a particular advertisement and I click on that advertisement, then the advertiser is going to be charged anywhere from 50 cents to $2 for that particular action. And then if I go to your Twitter profile and I want to follow you, I can then follow you, and then that's going to cost another $2 to $4 for each follow. And Twitter also offers business accounts. You can have both an individual account and a business account, and you can tweet as an individual, but you can also tweet as a business. And so sometimes the advertising comes more into play for companies that are tweeting more so than individuals. Use cases, people use it for press releases. They do use it for customer feedback and company announcements and product announcements. One of the interesting uses of Twitter is messages from the CEO. Very often, people want to hear from the CEO of a business. And so the CEO can use this platform to send out information about their company and dialogue directly with their client base out there. It's also used for thought leadership. People that come to Twitter are looking for content, and they're looking for kind of beyond the marketing spin. They want to hear from people who have real thought leadership within their space, and they'll follow them because they like what it is that they're hearing out there. So again, if you're in the services industry or professional services, you'll want to make sure you have some kind of an account out there on Twitter and putting information out there for people to consume, because that puts you in a thought leadership capacity. The benefits is that the messages are short and pithy. The feedback is immediate, and it's also global in reach. Teresa, do we have any questions on Twitter?
No.
All right. Moving on, YouTube. YouTube's an online video platform. It's the second most visited website in the world. It has over 1 billion hours of YouTube video that's uploaded on a daily basis. There's music videos, video clips, there's documentaries, there's audio recording, movie trailers, live streams, and video blogs. And most content is generated by individuals, but media corporations also publish videos, and you can never get bored with YouTube. So the great thing about YouTube is in being owned by Google is that it's got a very strong and very robust search capability. So if you have a particular topic that you are interested in, you can put that into their search engine and you can get any number of videos that are talking about the topic that you're interested in. The key elements, there's video technology and uploading, but it's very simple to use. You can film something on your iPhone, you can upload it into the YouTube platform, and that can then be put onto your website. A link to the YouTube video can be put on your website. There's decent quality and formats associated with it. You can do live streaming through YouTube if you have a particular event that you are wanting to advertise out there. There is a sense of community. People who they drive users out there to subscribe to their channel. And if you're subscribing to their channel, it means you're subscribing to their community. And they have the ability to give you updated content. You have the ability to give them input on their content. So it creates a nice community around YouTube. There's a comment system that you have to provide feedback. There are channels out there if you have a particular area that you're in, and then if you have a particular individual or company that you're interested in, you can subscribe to their channel. Their advertising costs, they do provide advertising. It's based on watch time and audience targeting and a campaign objective. Their advertising costs are anywhere from 10 cents to 30 cents per view or action, with an average daily budget of $10. And every time someone views your ad or engages with your ad, like by clicking on a call to action, you pay around 10 cents to 30 cents. So they are all about their users taking action on your advertising before they'll start to charge you. Use cases, people use it for instructional videos and sales campaigns, for training, a message from the CEO, product launches, company announcements. People are using they're using YouTube as well as Zoom for podcasts. They're recording videos, and with Zoom, you can record a video with another individual. You can record that and you can upload it into YouTube, and then you can advertise a podcast. And then when people click on the podcast, they see both yourself and your guest, and you can disseminate content that way. That does two things. One, it makes it entertaining. It's multimedia, so people are more apt to pay attention to it. It not only gives your guests the opportunity to get their content across, but it again puts you out there as a thought leader. Here I have brought in an expert in this area. We're having a dialogue, and so they're perceiving you again as being a thought leader within your particular space and addressable market. The benefits, it's got highly visual content. It puts a face and a voice to the business, and it engages viewers with comments and feedback. Let's move on. Let's talk about Google. Google is a multinational technology company. It's primarily used for a search engine, although their online advertising technologies has really come on strong. They do cloud computing and software and hardware. But again, Google is the most visited website worldwide. YouTube is the second most visited, which is owned by Google. And although not a traditional social media platform, Google has transformed Google search to include images and videos as well as commerce. Again, their key element, first and foremost, is a search engine. Advertising is also very popular within Google. They do provide web-based service, software and hardware, and enterprise services, internet services. Their advertising is based on AdWords, and you'll pay on a pay-per-click basis. The average cost per click is between $1 and $2. You can have a call-only ad, which is useful for businesses who make appointments over the phone because they let searchers convert before even visiting your site. So somebody can see your particular ad, they can hit the call only, hit the phone that's associated with your ad, and that'll come in as a phone call to your establishment, and you can set up the appointment without them having to them step out or have to link over to your website. So it makes it for a nice feature for companies out there that take appointments, particularly over the phone. Use cases, you probably have heard of search engine optimization or SEO. It's keywords that are within your website that when people type them in, that your information will show up ahead of other people. And there are companies out there that specialize in search engine optimization. They'll take a look at your website. They'll determine how optimized you are. They'll make recommendations on how to drive searches higher within the results page when people put in different terms. People use Google Ads for advertising. The great thing about Google and advertising is when a person comes into the Google platform, they're already searching, and they're already searching for a particular topic. And when they hit your ad, when they see your ad and they come to your site, because Google will send them to your website, it's somebody who's already pre-qualified themselves. They have said, I'm interested in this particular information. So I know when I'm on your website, you've already got somebody who's interested in what you have to offer. People use Google for competitive research, for market research, for website enhancement. The benefits, it's the number one site in the world for traffic and eyeballs. Its interoperability, it has the ability to interface with a variety of different platforms and websites and e-commerce sites that are out there. It's all about driving eyeballs to your website. And Google is widely adapted. Bing comes in second. The Bing search is way far behind Google. Google has way over 95% of the searches that are done through Google. All right, let's move on to TikTok. TikTok is a short-term video hosting service. It hosts genres like pranks and stunts and tricks and jokes and dance and entertainment with durations from 15 seconds to 10 minutes. It's got over 200 billion mobile downloads since 2020, of which 130 million are in the US. Its key elements, it's got short videos, lip sync videos, it's got a For You page, direct messaging, it's got a live feature of its own. It's got TikTok Pulse, which talks about which are more popular. It's used for influencer marketing, and you can actually do commerce on the TikTok platform as well. You can advertise through TikTok. Its cost per 1,000 views is 50 cents, with an average cost per 1,000 views is about $10. The cost per click is 2 cents if somebody clicks on your ad. There's a minimal spend per campaign of $500, of which the average cost per impression is about $1. Influencer cost pricing can cost anywhere from $5 to $2,000. The ads can be they can be commented or shared. And the audience, biggest age group is anywhere from 18 to 24-year-olds. Interesting to see how TikTok is going to be used by companies going forward. It's got a very young demographic. People, even though it offers e-commerce, they're probably going to have to go to their parents to get them to purchase a particular item. Although the 18 to 24-year-old bracket, they have the ability to purchase on their own. But it's going to be interesting to see where this platform goes over the next few years. There is it's in the news a lot right now from the standpoint of government. The government is very concerned that TikTok is owned by a Chinese conglomerate. And so they are very concerned about the information, the personally identifiable information that TikTok may be collecting from users. And so it's going to be interesting to see if the government clamps down more on TikTok. People use TikTok for influencer marketing. They use it for engagement marketing. They use it to reach Gen Z. And when you're talking about TikTok, you're talking about it's all about the video. The benefits of TikTok is it offers multimedia. There's immediate feedback, and you've got a worldwide audience. Let's talk quickly about a platform that you may not necessarily know about. It's called Alignable. It's a referral network for small business owners. It's based in Boston. It's got over 7 million users in 35,000 communities, and it's growing. It's not as large as the other platforms. What makes this of particular interest is that it is targeted to small business owners. The key elements, first and foremost, it's about referrals. You'll put up a profile within Alignable, within your local marketing area. They are based on communities, and so your community is going to be based on your geographic area. So if you are selling a product or have a service that you market within a very local area, it's your ability to put that information up in a community of other people within your local area. There's interest groups. You can then build a network. You can exchange referrals. They have an ideal customer feature where you can put in, this is the ideal customer that I would like to reach out there. And then what they will do is they'll take that information that you have to offer, and they'll give you other people within the Alignable network who fit that profile that you've set up that you can then get in contact with. They have an advice forum where you can put information out there, ask questions as a small business owner, and you can, that will go to other small business owners, and they will answer your questions, and they can be anything from, how do I market myself more effectively? How do I pay my taxes? Should I set up an LLC or a sub S? You know, you can put a variety of different topics out there and get information from other small business owners who have gone through the same thing you're going through. There's a trust index out there where they will go through and they will rate companies within their network from the perspective of trustworthiness. And that can be very important particularly when you are in a business, maybe you're in a craft business, maybe you're in a business of offering building services or general contracting. It gives you the ability to gives users within Alignable the ability to understand your trustworthiness. Their advertising is very different. They do sponsored advertisement through their local newsletters, and it's cost-based on a number of members within the community. It'll cost anywhere from $50 to $300 per month, which can be rather pricey. And for instance, where I live in Lexington, there's about 1,500 members within my community. I'm going to pay about $200 a month if I advertise on Alignable. Next door in Lincoln, there's less than 500 people. They're going to pay around $50 to reach those people. Woburn or Waltham, you know, city-based, up over 2,500 users. I'm going to be paying $300 per month to reach those users out there. So Alignable is really for small businesses who want to connect with other small businesses. They want to do it to share their expertise. They want to do it to pass referrals back and forth. I will say, when you go to set up Alignable, proceed with caution as it relates to your contacts. They give you the ability to link Alignable with your contacts. I would recommend against it until you are familiar with the Alignable platform, because they will send out connect requests to everybody on your contact network or your contact list. And so unless you are prepared to have people say, why am I getting this? And how come you sent this to me because it's going to comment is coming from you. I would just say don't opt for that feature when you're setting up the alignable profile. The benefits, again, the focus on small business, networking, and interest groups. So we've talked about all 8 platforms. What's the same? Well, they all rely on member contributions. They all provide options for advertising. They all are widely distributed and easily accessible. All are on our computers and tablets and phones, and all are growing, and all have influence on markets and society. They offer community, individuality, anonymity, we think. They provide feedback and the opportunity to dialogue. Most have a stories feature, and all have video features, and all have algorithms to distribute content. So lots of similarities between all the different platforms that are out there. What's different? Facebook primarily focused on the individual consumer. LinkedIn is more oriented towards business. Instagram is for the exhibitionist. Twitter is for the impulsive, to get it out now crowd. YouTube is for the opportunist. Google is for the searcher and researcher, and TikTok is for the flamboyant. And I should add that Alignable is for the small business person. If you offer a consumer-oriented product or service, you want to consider Facebook as a top priority. It's huge and diverse. Its users are savvy consumers of information. It inserts product or service in people's news feeds. It's not shy. It provides feedback. It creates a powerful brochure, and it pings clients about special offerings when combined with Twitter. If you're a business-oriented product or service, you'll want to consider LinkedIn. It's huge and diverse. Its users are savvy consumers of information as well. It's not shy. They provide feedback. It doesn't tolerate anything but market-oriented topics. So posts the personal stuff to Facebook. It creates a powerful brochure when combined with Instagram or YouTube, and it pings clients about special offerings when combined with Twitter. Instagram augments Facebook and LinkedIn. It provides a living brochure. Twitter augments Facebook and LinkedIn as well, provides real-time updates. YouTube augments Facebook and LinkedIn because it provides a living brochure and enables you to educate your clients on your product or service. Google augments Facebook and LinkedIn through search and research. TikTok augments Facebook and LinkedIn through multimedia. And again, Alignable allows people to set up communities. So the big 8, I should say, social media sites should not be treated solely as standalone offerings, but rather as an integrated ecosystem of communities striving to be the most influential platform within their addressable market. So all of these platforms not only want you to use them, but they want you to use them exclusively. So they are continuing to bring things like e-commerce to their platforms so that people don't have to jump out of their platform to go to other places to purchase goods and services. So they will continue to build out their platforms to get people to stay within their platforms. So how do you go about making a decision? Which platform do you choose? First of all, define your addressable market. Determine how visual your product or service needs to be. How do you want to reach to interact with your market? Do you want to do it through email, through phone, text, posts, through messaging? Are you a thought leader or follower within your market? What kind of results you're looking for? And how well do you know your current state? What do you want your future state to be? And really, if you're new to this, pick one platform, excuse me, get to know it intimately. All right, let's look to the future. First of all, are the big 7, really big 8, too big? The ad dollars, there is a trending where ad dollars are now going to some smaller networks because people are just finding that these platforms are just too big. I get lost in the noise. Social commerce is becoming the norm. More and more people are purchasing goods and services through these platforms rather than going outside of these platforms. Messaging is replacing phone calls. You probably have seen the ad for, I think, Progressive or somebody about the difference between texting and phoning. And people text now; they don't phone. People message through these platforms rather than call each other. Long form videos giving way to short form video, except on YouTube. But you need to get your message across in about 2 minutes, because that's about the amount of time people are going to give to looking at your particular video. Content creators are on the rise. These are people who will create content that you can contract with. Whereas if I don't have the time to create the content myself, I can get with one of these content creators. They'll create the content for me. They'll even post it to my platforms out there that I've chosen. And so it relieves you from having to continually come up with content. Learn the intricacies of paid advertising. I gave you kind of a high level overview of what advertising costs, but look at it from specifically within your market and what it is you are doing to understand, what the paid advertising is going to be, because it can get quite expensive. And so you want to make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your buck in that area. Social listening to monitor brand competition trends, etc. The thing about social media is it has to be worked. You have to understand what is going on within these different platforms as it relates to your brand and as it relates to your competition, and to understand what are the latest trends that are out there, so that if you need to shape your message to meet a changing market, you can do that in a very timely basis and not get caught having to play catch up. Social audio is coming to a channel near you. That's the one kind of, we've got video. You do have some podcasts out there that are audio based, but people are experimenting with social audio, which is where you will click on a link and hear somebody, hear some piece of audio versus seeing a video. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Right now, people are opting for video, which gives you the audio with it as well. The metaverse. You may have heard about the metaverse. In fact, Facebook has changed its name to Meta. The company name is now called Meta. It's the next thing beyond the internet that's coming in the next 5 years, we think. It's attracted Facebook and Apple and Microsoft and Google, who are pouring billions of dollars into development. It's basically a hypothesized iteration of the internet, supporting persistent online 3D virtual environments through conventional personal computing, as well as virtual and augmented reality headsets. You could, one application you could envision is maybe I'm selling something through a store. Maybe it's a jewelry store. People could come in through the metaverse, come into my virtual 3D store, take a look at my offerings and purchase something. Maybe they could try it on virtually to see what it would look like on them virtually. The big question about metaverse right now is it really technology in search of an application? When you talk to people out there, they go, yeah, really cool technology, but I don't see who's going to use it. I don't see a market for it out there. But Facebook putting $50 billion behind it is going to make some noise in this area. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 5 years. All right. We have made it to the end. Thank you for listening to my diatribe as I've gone through it today. Teresa, do we have any questions out there?
We do have questions. I'm going to start with the Alignable question first. How small are companies on Alignable? We sell to companies with at least 100 employees. I often ignore all of my requests from Alignable, as it seems to be a repeat of LinkedIn. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, that's a great question. Alignable really is for the small business out there. And if you look at the type of people that are on Alignable, their plumbers and their contractors. They are people out there who, maybe they're attorneys, but they're people that are looking for opportunities probably within less than 100 employees, companies that are out there. It's if you're marketing to people that are 100 companies and larger out there, yes, you'll want to be on LinkedIn. You could always have a presence out online. All these platforms are free to join. You could always put a presence out there and see if you get any kind of reaction from it. But it's primarily for small business.
Okay. Is it necessary to gain presence by paying for advertising, or is it simply enough to have a presence in post?
Another great question. If you are very good, and if your content is very compelling, and if you can draw a following, then you can do it organically within these platforms. Having a presence out there alone is not necessarily going to drive people to you. And so for those that are finding, I'm on this platform, I'm not getting I don't seem to get anybody coming to look at my business page or interact with me. So in those situations, you might have to turn to advertising to try to get people just to see that you're out there. But again, if you are very good and very compelling, because you're going to have a lot of competition out there, even within your addressable market, you can, though, attract a following, and people have been very successful at it.
How do you find a content creator?
Google. You could Google. Content creators are a niche place. You could consider there are short-term employment agencies such as Fiverr, Fiverr, and Upworks that are out there of people that are kind of free agents, and you can hire them in on a project basis, and you say this, I just need some content created, and they can do it for a very low cost. There are certainly digital marketing firms that are out there, but you're going to find that they're rather pricey. If you go to some of these entities that are kind of contract employees, temporary employees, you'll find that you'll find content creators there as well. They all have search capabilities, so you can go into their platforms and find people, and you'll find that their pricing is much better.
Okay. As a business owner, prefer social media presence associated with the company, not individual, due to risk. If when an individual leaves, he or she takes the following your company helped pay for by creating with content and ads. Strategically and tactically, how should you address this with all those social media accounts so closely tied to an individual?
Wow. Okay, that is a good long question.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it here. A business owner prefer presence associated with the company, not individual, due to risk. If when an individual leaves, he usually takes the following your company help pay for by creating content is. This is, if I'm reading it correctly, these are going to be the similar type of issues that if someone is in your company and they've built a base of business, they've built a clientele, and they then go to another company and they take their clientele with them, how do you combat against that? There are situations where there are employment contracts out there that people, when they sign on to a company, say, if I ever leave, I'm not going to compete with the company, which means I'm not going to take the information with me. Sometimes it's enforceable, sometimes it's not enforceable. People are, particularly are creating, they're creating following, they're creating business. They're doing it under your company name, but with them as an individual. And it's like email lists, they're going to take their email lists with them when they leave the company. It's very hard to, other than making sure that you've got a contract when they sign up, that when they leave, they're not going to take business assets with them, including email lists, social media lists, etc. If I understood the question correctly.
Yeah, I think that's how I took it. Is there do you know what the data is for the age group that uses YouTube by chance? Or is that something?
I don't. It's really quite widespread because YouTube's been around so long, and because it's so vast. You're going to see the 18 to, I mean, you'll just, it really virtually covers all age groups.
Okay. I'm in the film industry. We will be using a marketing campaign for building up excitement of Massachusetts residents later this spring before a 6-week shoot. Any suggestions on which one to focus on?
Yeah, I guess it will depend on what your film is going to be about. If it's going to be a kind of an entertainment film for people to go and watch your film out there, certainly you can generate excitement over Facebook. You can generate excitement over YouTube. People, particularly with looking for movie ideas, people will very often go to YouTube because they see trailers, they can see different types of things. So you can generate some buzz within YouTube itself. You could both within Facebook and YouTube set up live events where you come in and maybe not show, you're not going to show your film, but maybe you'll show some snippets from the film. There's actually a series right now on I think it's on Prime Video. They have their own app, but it's called The Chosen. And what they do within this that particular series, it's not really a film, it's more of a series, but they generate excitement. They have live events when they come in and say, hey, catch the first 5 minutes of the next episode that's coming up. And they'll create some buzz around that using Facebook Live or using YouTube Live.
Okay. All right. Last question. How can I use social media without spending a lot of time on it? I find it to become too time consuming.
This is the most excellent question, and probably the most common question we hear from small businesses, because when you think about it, small business owners have to wear many, many hats. They have to be the chief executive officer, the chief financial officer, the chief marketing officer, the chief revenue officer. Your time as small business owners is really stretched. And the unfortunate thing about social media is that it, which is not unlike traditional media, is that it has to be worked. And you have to, the best ones that are being most successful right now on social media platforms are ones who have established a cadence and they post regularly. Now, that doesn't mean you have to post every day, but you want to establish a cadence. Say you want to do it once a week or even once a month. Stay with it. Post once a week or post once a month, because what that will do is that will generate an expectation within your followers that, oh, something is coming out. I usually get something every Monday or whatever. And if nothing else, it's a touch base. It's just, hey, we're still out here. This is what we do. And you have to think about different angles about, what would somebody be interested about within my business this week? If you're selling hard goods, maybe you feature a particular item that you sell, and say this week's special is on this item. We're going to give it for X% off, to try to create some buzz. If you're a services industry, you might you talk about some aspect that's important for people to know. If you're in the legal industry, you might want to talk about legal issues that people should know about, because what will happen is when you're posting regularly, you're going to run into that intersection of time where somebody says, "Oh, I need what you have to offer." And they're going to click on. They're going to contact you. They're going to like. They're going to put a comment out there, and now you're in a dialogue with them, which is where we want to get to.
All right, that covers it. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. As mentioned in the chat, this should be posted probably by Monday. You can catch it on the Boston Score website, in the drop down under the local workshops is the previously recorded webinars page, so that you can find this and other excellent webinars for your viewing. And thanks to Rob for a fantastic and information filled presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you.